Job costing doesn't have to be a mess. In this video, we'll show you how to track job costs in HubSpot or QuickBooks and why QuickBooks stays the source of truth. You'll see exactly how to create bills, map vendors and customers, and associate them with deals so your costs stay accurate.
You can do job costing directly in HubSpot, completely separate from your QBO if you want to. Or since I don't ever like to hear anybody does things twice, you can do it directly in QBO, and the workflows we've built into our standards will bring that information to HubSpot for you. So I'm going to start out by showing you how to do this inside of HubSpot first, because this information will not go over to your QBO. This process is only going to bring over new bills. Reason we don't have this send to QBO, we don't want them to be able to create something here that puts something in QBO that they have no way to see what it did. Basically, for instance, if they were to create a bill here and then realize they screwed it up and they decide to delete this and create another one, if we had it going the other way, it would create a bill here, they would delete it. It would not delete the bill in QuickBooks because syncs don't work that way. When you delete, it breaks the sync, so nothing can change. So syncs don't work on a delete. So if they create a bill, delete it, and then create another bill, there's only one bill here in HubSpot, and then there would be two in QuickBooks. As I said, we don't want this to be your source of truth. We want QuickBooks to be the right one. We don't want to send information there unnecessarily. So that is the reason that this is a one-way sync. So what you're going to do first is on the right-hand side of your deals, there is a bills object. And in that bills object, there is an add button. Click that add button. Once you do, this will pop up. Some of you may have more options in here. It just depends what you are looking to track when you're doing this. But these are the three main ones on how this works. The bill name is the first thing that you need to fill out. Then you are going to come here and you're going to enter your bill amount. I generally would say you're going to want your vendor name. In fact, the QBO version is going, when you enter it there, it's going to pull over the vendor as the bill name. And then also very important is the bill category. So you're going to enter your bill category. Our categories right now are material, labor, subs, and disposal and other. So those are the ones that are standards. Some of you may have some slight different ones. All right, once you do that, you have your create bill button. You are going to select create bill, and we'll show you how that looks inside of HubSpot here. What it's going to do is take you to bill that's been created. So now on the right hand side, instead of being inside the deal, you're now going to be inside the bill and you're associated with the deal instead of the other way around. All right, so from here, I'm going to go into how to do this on the QBO side. So the same exact process, but doing it on the QBO side is there's this expenses section. And when you hover over it, you're going to see bills and expenses. So these are going to be the two ways to enter your bills inside of HubSpot that will automatically come over. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to jump into creating a bill. The first thing you're going to do is click add bill or add expense if you're under expenses. Either way, they're going to generally look exactly the same in here. Then once you click add bill, this drop down is going to pop in and you're going to then click create bill. From there, you need to select a vendor. We have to have a person to bill this to. If the vendor doesn't exist, it will allow you to create one. If you start typing here, it will give you the plus button if it's a vendor that doesn't exist, or it will pull up whichever vendor you're wanting to send this to. So as you select your vendor, that goes on your bill here. Then the next thing you have to do here is select a category. So this category is going to be different for every one of you. Next thing, we do need an amount. We don't need a description, but if you want a description, you can put it in there. That's not going to come over to HubSpot. This amount obviously does need to come over to HubSpot. So you enter your amount. Next, you're going to select a customer. This customer button may not exist on your QuickBooks right off the bat. If you haven't done job costing in QuickBooks before, you will want to edit this form to have the customer on here so that you can map it to a customer. This is the most important part of this portion of it, because as I said, the only thing that goes over to HubSpot is new bills. So if you create this bill with no customer, the new bill's been created, it's going to try to send over to HubSpot, but then it's going to find out there's no customer and it's going to say, okay, this is not a customer bill. We don't send to HubSpot, and it's going to kick it out and never come over. So having this customer on here right away is very key to making this process work. So make sure you select your customer, put them in there. And then once you're done with that, we're going to save and close, and then we'll have the ability to go over to our HubSpot. So I'm going to show you here on our actual HubSpot what this looks like. All right, so as these come over, you're going to get your bill, your material bills, your labor bills coming over that you've created in QuickBooks, and they will show up here automatically, or if you've manually created them, either way, they would be here. If you're seeing them not come over, potentially you created it with a customer that doesn't exist in HubSpot, at which point it would still create the bill, but it wouldn't know where it goes. So it would just not be associated with a deal. It would exist over here. If you were to click on your bills and look at it this way, you would see a list of bills in here, and then maybe one of them, what I usually do is I'll add a column here to show the bills to deals. deals, and it'll show me what deals they're to. Usually the glaring thing is right there, there's one that's not associated with the deal. That's the obvious way to catch, hey, I sent a bill over. It wasn't, the HubSpot customer was not tied to my QuickBooks yet. So it came over as a bill, but it didn't know where to go put it. And so this is an easy way to grab it. Then you could manually associate it to a deal here by simply clicking this and then adding an existing deal here. And then everything would work the same way. It doesn't need to be tied to the deal immediately, but if you want to add an existing deal, you just find your deals, select it, and then it goes to that deal. Once those bills do come over, you cannot edit anything on this left-hand side. As you can see, these are all calculated fields. That's where you see the dashes where there's nothing there. If I try to type in here, I can't type anything. This is just an informative field, and it's actually doing a calculation. So what this is doing is this material cost is taking any of the bills that exist over here that are labeled material and adding them together to create this field. This labor one is going right here under labor. Same thing. This labor is adding up all the bills over here that are in the category of labor, and all the way on down. That's how this works. This is going to add up all of these costs together. If there is no category, they don't show up here at all. So that's one reason we want to make sure we got these mapped properly, because they could exist over here, but not show up here at all if they're not put in any category at all. So the process, if it's mapped properly, we'll put them in one of the 5 categories automatically, no matter what. All right, so from there, I'm just going to go into showing you what you can do with this information. These are just properties that come over. So these, like if I change this number, it will not change this. Well, it will change this number, but it won't change my profit number here or anything like that. So if you're changing these manually, you have to change all of them to be correct if you're changing them, because this is all just comes over directly from Sumo Quote, not quoted from or not calculated from any other way. This is a way for one to consistently make sure that your Sumo Quote numbers are correct. This is also a way to say, hey, my budget versus actual, what's the red flag that I should look at it? Maybe you've got 100 deals a month. You don't want to audit every single one of them every single day. So this is an easy way to say, hey, why don't we do a report? What's my planned profit margin here versus my actual profit margin? And when they're off by a significant amount, then we want to audit that one and be like, hey, what happened? Why is this not right? So I used to look at it as if it was a couple of percent points off. Like if I'm at 35% here, as you can see, this one's at 26, almost 27% on the actual. So why am I missing on about 8% of my profit margin? So this gives me an easy way to look through this. On your bills, I do recommend that you do this portion. Inside of a bill, once you create them, you can add an attachment of a PDF of that bill. You can have the entire bill on there. So let's, if it was an ABC supply bill or what have you, it shows exactly what they billed you for. It's an easy way to kind of look through it and see, hey, what did we get charged for that we weren't expecting if this bill doesn't match up? Same with labor. You can look at this and easily catch if an installer is overcharging you. I had one installer back when I was running the roofing company that was consistently overcharging us. At first, it was like 1 or 2 squares here and there, and I would catch that pretty quick. And then it got to be where at one point it was like 10 squares off. And I went through our bills and of all of our materials to say, hey, why did we get charged for extra 10 squares on this job? And I went through all of our materials and found that they are telling me that they installed way more than we purchased. It was an easy conversation to go back to them and say, hey, what's going on? And it turns out they've been doing it for a while and trying to kind of get one over on us and make up a little bit of money by adding little numbers here and there. And it was an easy thing for me to go back and look at all of their old ones that were a little bit closer that I didn't catch as easily. It made me realize that I need to be either watching them like a hawk or not using them at all. And we eventually stopped using them as a result of this because we realized they're trying to pull one over on us, which is in an effort to hurt our business. So it's a way to catch these things, as I said.